All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TIO Stadium for round 17 action of the 2021-22 TIO NTFL season here. A special round here today, the No More round. AFL NT and No More have been working together since 2015 to promote the No More campaign, which uses power of sport to change the way the public views family violence. Founded in the Northern Territory in 2006 by ABC commentator Charlie King after talking with men in Aboriginal communities about the issues they face. The elders told Charlie no more and all men should link up. Unfortunately, the NT has the highest rates of domestic and family violence compared to any other state in Australia. Today, all Premier League players have been encouraged to wear orange armbands, and umpires, as you can see, have donned orange socks as a personal sign of support for the No More campaign. You will see that the men's Premier League teams, before heading out today, will link up and show that they're committed to ending family violence.
Hello.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Waratah Football Club. And put your hands together for the Darwin Buffaloes and 100 gamer Bradley Stokes.
Charlie King here from the No More campaign. The campaign asks all Australians to say no more to family violence. The high and unacceptable levels of family violence in Australia are a national shame for all of us, but we can do something about it. We can link arms to symbolically show national unity. We can speak out against family violence, and we can encourage each other to be more respectful in our relationships.
The No More campaign, AFL Northern Territory and the Northern Territory Football League thanks both the Men's Premier League Buffaloes and Waratah for taking a stand against family violence. Oh, thank you so much.
Are you right? I might just go through the ambo.
AFL-NT and the Northern Territory Football League would like to take this time to thank their premier partners, TIO, Northern Territory Government and the Australian Government, and we'd also like to acknowledge our NTFL sponsors and partners, No More, Carlton United Breweries, Towards Zero, Impex, Intersport, Kazali's Palmerston Club, Sterling NT, Bridge Toyota, Sharon, and also a big thank you to our media and broadcast partners, 7 News Darwin, NT News, Mix 104.9 and 100, and Kick Digital. We are just moments away from first bounce here at TIO Stadium for round 17 action of the 2021-22 TIO NTFL season for a special no more round. Make sure you head to the kiosk in the bar, grab something to eat, something to drink, and we'll be underway very shortly.
Welcome to TIO Stadium. You're watching AFL&T's coverage of the 2021-22 TIO NTFL season from TIO Stadium in Darwin. I'm Will Zwar. With me is Damien Hale. And Haley, today we've got Buffaloes versus Waratah in round 17 action.
Yeah, it should be an interesting one, Will. I think Buffs had a bit of a purple patch last week, almost got the chocolates against Wanderers. Disappointed in Tars last week. I thought there was a challenge was there to play St Mary's down at Gardens, and they came up short. So I think Tars will be licking their wounds a bit and probably want a nice solid hit out before Nightcliff next week in the final round. And Buffalo still have a chance to make the final, so they should come with a bit of motivation today for that.
Round 17 action. Darwin
Buffalo's
taking on Waratah for round 17 of the 2021-22 TIO NTFL season. A special game for the no more round.
So as you just heard there, it's no more round, which is all about, I guess, just putting a stop to domestic violence in the Northern Territory. We've got some pretty significant statistics up here that we want to crush, and it's good to see the footy community getting behind it. We'll give you some messaging for that throughout the day today. Yeah, back to the footy, and it looks like the teams are setting up, and I think it'll be Waratah kicking to the right of screen and Buffalo's kicking to left of screen to start off with.
Pretty good toss for Darwin to win, I think, just to kick with probably what will be a 2 to 3 goal breeze normally at this time of day at TIO. So it'd be good for Buffaloes to get out of the blocks early. I think that's the key to the game for them today. They need to start well and be in the contest at quarter time. They don't want to be giving up a 4 or 5 goal lead to Waratahs. Waratahs have shown this year they're very good when they're in front. they've got a fantastic percentage. I think it's up in the 140s. So they have been able to kick a lot of goals. So I think that Buffaloes will need a good start today and be with Waratahs at quarter time.
Yeah, they do need to keep going with their percentage. St Mary's, who currently sit in second place, are a fair bit ahead of them, so they'll be wanting to not only win but win by a fair margin, but we'll see how they go today. Umpire balls up the first of the game, heavily favoured in the way Waratah gets a tap down. It looks like the Buffs will get the first clearance today. It goes inside their forward 50. Jaden Kickett takes it through the hands of Bork. He then gets it off to Armout Watkins, their leading goal scorer. Hacks it forward. Tars defenders on it. Jared Stokes run through, gets a handball over the top into a crowd of Waratah defenders. Now comes out to Waratah. He kicks it just outside the defensive 50. Now with O'Dwyer. Comes out over the top now. Only gets it as far as Jackson Clark. Handball comes down. Matt Watkins picks the ball up and is collected high to start the game. Already a bit of fire in this one, Haley.
Yeah, there'll be a little bit of a feeling out period, I think, where both sides will go pretty hard at it. It'll be about sustaining it, though, because it is quite warm walking in from the car park. I was quite happy to come to the air-conditioned commentary box. It is quite warm out there. We've had a number of really hot days up here in the territory. Having
just played on the back oval in Div 2, it's I can tell you it's very hot and it's very still, so that makes it even hotter out there. But see how they adjust. Matt Watkins probably not outside his range here. He loads up. It's not accurate. He's got the meterage and it's 3-4 behind.
Yeah, he kicked that ball from outside 50, so I think it's the breeze is fairly reasonably strong, I think, to the right of screen, because that ball went through a post height.
Yeah, the flags certainly indicate that just on the other side of the ground above the old scoreboard there. Here's Collis bringing it in from fullback for Waratah. He goes beyond Cree. Gee, that's very close to the boundary line. Cree did his bit to get possession, but he's run it over for a boundary throw-in.
Yeah, rare error there from Dylan Collis, I think it is, isn't it?
There's both of them playing today, yet to see their numbers, and they both still have that peroxide arts.
Yeah, Dylan's the one who they've played in half-back and been very impressed with his play across half-back.
So Archer now gets the hit down, comes into to Remfrey. He hands it back out now to the 150th gamer in Stokes. He then gets it to Clark, who kicks it forward. Good fist in there from the Waratah defender. Now comes to Collis. Gets it over to his brother. And they've done a little 1-2, but it didn't pay off. Nathaniel Cooper kicks it forward. And is that a mark? No, umpire calls play on, and Waratah will mop up. Not without some pressure, some great offensive pressure from Buffs early on. As John Vrodos has run into a tackle, and he's paid for a high hit.
Interesting player, Johnny Vrodos. Actually started the season with Waratahs, and because of points restrictions wasn't able to get into their senior side, so a little bit of mismanagement there by the Tars. I would have tried to at least give him a senior game before the cut-off, because he's been quite an effective player for Buffalo since the November 30 turnover.
Absolutely, and he'd love to get one here against his old side, I guess you could call him. He lines up, he kicks, it's pretty accurate, he's happy with it. Goal umpire not so though, so 2 behinds to Darwin Buffs to start off this game.
Buffs' pressure's been good, Will, early. Their pressure around the football in their forward 50, there's a bit of pace on, and there is a question mark about Waratah's speed in their back half.
Not a great kick in from Collis, nearly got straight down the throat of Sharples, but it's paid off for them. And Tars surging forward. Carroll on the inside wing here, close to the grandstand. Juggles the ball through, takes possession in a tackle. Umpire will call my ball, and it's a good call from the umpire there.
Well, we're at how long we've been going? We've been going 6 minutes, is it?
6 minutes.
6 minutes, and first time Waratahs have been in there half of the ground.
Wouldn't have expected that coming to this one. Here's Cree again. He rolls around, hands it forward to Lewis George. Now with Buffs, they've done well here. Clark kicks it very tight to the boundary line to Sharples. He kicks it inboard, but again, it's Tars ready to mop up.
Oh.
Gee, very dangerous there.
One for the brave there.
Coach should be in panic mode there, I reckon.
Yeah, the heart rate would have just gone to about 180 in the coach's box.
Still yet to come off. Here's Eldridge. He's wrapped around. Gee, that's almost... he's almost been tackled by the invisible man a couple of times there. And he's given away a free kick for holding the ball.
Oh, no, he's balling it up, is he?
Oh, yeah, he's balling it up.
Thought that was the call.
Archard, another hit out. He's having a fantastic year. Eldridge at the bottom of the pack again. Another ball up.
I wouldn't mind $1 for every time a commentator said Eldridge at the bottom of the pack. He spent his whole career at the bottom of the pack, the number 7 for the Buffs.
Yeah, can expect him to get plenty of it. He's in some pretty good form since the Christmas break as well. And Tars looking to muscle their way through, courtesy of Munro, the VFL player.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Munro goes. He's a 100-game player down in the VFL.
Now Tars again. Looks like they are a more solid team today, so they will be using that to their advantage. But it's a 1-on-3 tight on the wing. It's paid off for them. In there comes LeGrice. Only gets it as far as Nathaniel Cooper. He's tackled, couldn't take clean possession of the ball. Now comes inboard. Here's Collis, gets around one, hands it through to Magro, the bald Magro. He's had a haircut. He goes towards goal, but it's just got a bit too much on it and through for a behind.
Yeah, dangerous player, Magro, and he knows when to go at the footy. He knows when to sag back as a forward, and that time he picked the sag back and he almost kicked the goal.
Gee, another very average kick in there, this time from the Buffs, but it'll pay off from Clark at the bottom of that one. Under pressure from Carroll. Fisted forward by the Waratah offender, but it'll still come out to Buffs. He's balking plenty of space. Cheeky little one off the side of his boot to Sharples. And they've got a few numbers tight on this wing. He goes down there and he finds, I think it's Remfrey in this very close to the boundary line on centre wing. Assesses his options, doesn't like a lot. So again, he goes deep, this time to Bork, the TikTok star. Can't take the mark and the ball will roll over the boundary line.
You just look at the numbers there. Waratahs are very good at their structure behind the ball in their defensive half. And even that kick then it was a 5-on-2. Waratahs have worked back really well to support their back line. Their midfielders didn't do it enough last week and they left them exposed the back half against St Mary's.
Archard again. Like $1 every time a commentator said that. Archard out of the ruck.
He's a big unit, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And he's obviously had a very formidable season, played in that rep game as the NT starting ruckman. Turnbull now trying to take possession. He's at the bottom of the pack this time. Sharples also bottom of the pack. Waratah will sweep it. Collis kicks it into space. His teammate Kitschke's pushed over the line and umpire will pay deliberate.
Oh. Umpire Noonan's right onto it early.
I thought he was under plenty of pressure there, but Noonan didn't think so. So here comes Luke Roberts. Again, just sort of kicked it into a hole full of Waratah players. Collis to Turnbull to Collis. Bounces over the top of Abala. Back to the milestone man in Stokes. Then to Archard. He goes across the ground. He finds Sam Bono, who's a handy in for them today, that's for sure.
He just sneaks around, doesn't he, Sam Bono?
Jaden kick it in game 151, overran the mark, and Waratah will exit their defensive 50 courtesy of O'Dwyer that time. Now goes out on that far side wing. And Tars have got a fair bit of room going forward. Wrapped up in the tackle there by Moroney. And umpire calls for a ball up.
Been a little bit hard going for Tars to get forward, but they're up in the half-forward line now.
Yeah, thought they were possibly on there, but looking at all of their forwards, they were all and almost had their jumpers being held. That's how tight the defenders are playing. So Buffs have certainly come to play today. They're underdogs, but they're not going down without a fight, and in fact they're leading. It is just 2 points to 1 point, but I don't think it's going to be easy for either team today.
I think Jaden Kickett's injured himself. He's down on the half-forward flank for Darwin after putting pressure on the Waratahs player.
Looking very
ginger.
Very ginger.
That's just not his hair. He's not walking real flash at the moment, Kickety.
And down the other end of the ground, having just said I don't think it'll come easy, Cowan Buffaloes have made a pretty big error in turning it over straight down the throat of Brodie Carroll, who for me has been their best player this year. He'll walk in. Bit too much on it. He's pushed it across the face and it's a behind.
It's been interesting, Will, that both sides have struggled with their kick-ins, and kick-ins have become easier and easier in the game now. You don't have to worry about staying in the square, but yet it's still hard for sides to execute.
That one there, very tight as well. It has paid off so far. Now comes down to Moroney. Gee, very tight on the boundary again to Clark. Played on when he didn't have to. No, umpires giving him benefit of the doubt, so he'll have a free kick on that back flank. Unsure what to do, very uncertain. Goes to the big man in Archard. Hasn't paid off. Collis rows the crumb off the pack. Kicks it across. A bit too much on it. Munro now with it on that far flank. Too far out to score. Kicks it onto the run of Silva. Also onto the run of the forward there. Can't quite see in that blistering sun. Haven't done it cleanly. There goes LeGrice towards goal. And it's a mark in the goal square to Waratah. So as we head over the...
He's trying to con the umpire here that he's walked straight back and the ump's going to have none of it. He's bringing him right around on the angle.
It's Harrison Kitchke there in that forward pocket.
And Jaden Kickett's walking straight across the boundary line here. He's going to take no further part in the game.
Yeah, he's looking very, very ginger. And it's the first goal of the game as we tick over 10.5 minutes.
So that's Buffaloes are down to 21 men for the rest of the contest. Jaden Kickett appears to have been he's injured and he's done for the day.
Very important player from last week as well, Haley. He kicked, I think he kicked 2 goals, had about 3 more sort of not quite shots on goal. I think he had 2 more shots and 2 assists there as well.
Yeah, he had 142 games at Tigers and felt he couldn't get in the team over there, so he came across the Buffaloes this season and he's done very well for him actually. Playing him as a forward, he's kicked a couple of bags of 4 in this season already, so disappointing for Kickety. I hope he's okay.
So Waratah head to a 6-point lead. It's 1 goal to 8, leading Darwin Buffaloes yet to kick a goal, 2 behinds. But they've been, you'd argue that they've had most of the play so far, though Magro again goes inside 50 for Waratah. They're outnumbered deep in their forward line. Plenty of Buffs players back. Stokes goes back there. Now comes out to Wabala. He's got pace. He'll get a kick out there to Tom Clark in the back flank. And again, you've mentioned Waratah are just good at setting up their defensive lines. That's exactly what they've done here. They've pressured them to the line. Nearly a great mark from Vrodos. Umpires sorry, the crowd's not happy that hasn't been paid a mark.
Little bit. They thought there was a bit of tunnelling there, I think, from Ross.
He definitely came down hard. So in now and another easy hit out for Archard. And goes over the boundary line on the Buffs forward flank.
Just think Buffaloes, as they come off half-back and through the wing, they might have to look to turn and go a little bit more and take the risk, take the game on a little bit more, get some run past support, because whenever they hold it up, Waratahs are very good at just getting their numbers back behind. They structure up well, and then it becomes very hard to win the one-on-one marking contest. So I'd just like to see Buffs back themselves a bit. They've got good pace in today, Will.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they that's where they will get ahead if they sort of played up the game on their terms, which so far, despite the scoreboard, is what they've probably done better. Mark forward there to Jack Hutchins. He goes on to Lewis George running into the 50. Runs onto it, kicks towards goal. Will it bounce through? It will. So Tars kicked their second of the day, Haley.
Yeah, they're very good at... Waratahs are very good at playing in surges, and once they start to get some confidence, as we've seen throughout the season, they can score. They can put scores on sides very quickly. Whether they're up to doing this sort of thing to Saints and Nightcliff remains to be seen, but once again, as I said, I think Darwin have probably had 70% of the play, Will, and they're 2 goals behind at the start.
And one of the Tars' biggest strengths as well is their versatility. We've seen a goal from Kitchke and a goal from Lewis George. Kitchke's sort of played as a key forward, but not their main man this year. And, the next one could come from one of 15 players.
Yeah.
Archard again out of the ruck, down there to Collinson. He kicks it inside 50 for Buffs. No mark at the spill of the contest there. An umpire pulls out a free kick in favour of Buffs. It'll go towards Luke Roberts. Had a quick look forward there, but wasn't really being offered anything. Unsure if he's got the distance in him here. Looking for a runner. Doesn't give off to Bork. So Luke Roberts looking to open the account for Buffs today. Walks in, kicks it towards goal, and it's gone through.
They needed that one, Buffs. You need reward when you're putting pressure on and you're probably having a little bit more of the field position. You need to get the reward, and that was good for Buffs then to get the reward. And Luke Roberts, he went back. He took his time. It was certainly he took his time, didn't he, Will? Like it was almost reported for time wasting at one point, but he's gone back and he's done what good forward should do and kicked the goal.
He did. He didn't look confident. I wasn't confident in him just based on that either, but he's kicked truly, and it's a pretty good kick. Umpire moved a little bit, but not too much on the boundary line and on the goal line, and it's gone through. Wilkins with a rare hit out there for Tars. Only down the throat of Rodos. He now hands it out to Balk. Balk gets her hands through again to Collinson. He got that last clearance. He'll get this one as well. Collis running back, couldn't take the mark, but takes possession. He now goes out wide to George. Can't take the mark either, and he's caressed over the boundary line. Good pressure there again from Nathaniel Cooper.
There's some good speed down there for Darwin today. So the Waratah's back six will know that they're in a footy game. When the ball hits the ground, Buffalo's have got some real genuine speedsters up in their forward 50.
Archard with the hit out on that wing down to Balk. Pressured. Ball now in Waratah's possession, goes down the wing.
Nice kick.
Good mark there as well. He goes inboard to the runner George. He's had plenty of it early. He goes to Magro. He's put on the speeders and he's accelerated just outside 50. Kicks it into the advantage of his forward. Might be Turnbull there. He goes back inboard to George, and two of their forwards got in the way of each other. Now with Carroll. He hands out. It's Corey Rich. Kicks it into the centre corridor. Good work from Tars to not give up possession, and here it is Turnbull now just outside 50, too far out to score. Goes a short option, and that will pay off as well. So it's James Munro, that VFL star we've been talking about. Plenty of experience under his belt.
Good to see Turnbull back in the team.
Yeah, had a few weeks off. They were also out without Brodie Carroll for a few weeks there, and both of them are handy inclusions. When they're in, they just look like a much more complete team. They're co-captains.
Did he have some vaccination issues or something, Turnbull? Did I hear that right?
Not sure the entire story. I know there's been quite a few players and a number of clubs who've come down with COVID and had to spend 7 days at home.
Yep.
He might well be one of them and just cop the double weekend. But Tars now on the board. Their third goal of the quarter.
Yeah, good work there from Tars. A couple of times there, Corey Rich too, and he's trapped in that forward pocket. He centred the ball, did the unselfish act, which is really important, and they were able to open up to getting the shot out in front of goal. So well done, Rich.
Yeah, good work from him there. I don't think either kick really sort of paid off, but it doesn't necessarily need to. You get it in there, there's enough pressure, just being in front of the goals that the defenders can turn it over, which is what they've done straight down the throat of Turnbull, and it's resulted in a goal to Munro. Back in the middle, and Archard has a little double tap. Now works forward again for Buffs. Been very good out of the middle today, but can't convert up forward. Here's Eldridge turning his opponent inside out. Goes into that centre corridor again. Nathaniel Cooper throws it on the right towards goal. It's wide. It's well wide. It's out on the full.
Got a good spot then, Cooper. That's where you want your little players to get to front and centre.
Probably ran a bit too fast onto it and had a little bit more time than he thought, but he'll learn from that. Now comes in to LeGrice in the back pocket.
This is where Darwin need to get their structures right in defending this kick in.
Haven't done too badly. LeGrice didn't like what he had, and it's worked over the boundary line there from a contest in Tom Marsh and Ben Archard.
That's a good win for Darwin. Because Waratahs this year have been able to pinpoint those passes out of their back half against most sides, and Darwin have done well to force a throw in here.
So Marsh gets that one down. Yet to take possession. LeGrice again gets it only as far as Clark. He throws on the boot into the forward pocket. Ball rolls over the boundary line.
I just noticed that stoppage there. Dylan Collis sags back off the contest and he's without an opponent. Maybe Darwin need to say to their half-forward flanker, instead of going up to the boundary throwing, go back onto Collis to create a 1v1. rather than letting him stand there by himself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or you're bringing up another forward and have a 2v1.
Yeah.
You just can't let him stand there by himself.
He's a dangerous player, and he's getting involved there again.
And even if you just do it for 5 minutes, just man up on him and see how effective he is, rather than allowing him to run around by himself. And because he will carve you up if you don't show him the respect, he will get his 30 touches off the half-back flank.
Umpire throws in from the boundary. Ball pinging around there at the bottom of the pack. Out to Turnbull, who'll get a rebound 50 down the wing. Just overcooks it to Hutchins and rolls over the boundary line. So umpire just setting up the players there on the wing. Ball thrown in. Now comes down to Munro. Handball's about. Carroll picks it up. Tackled over the boundary line. Good pressure from Buffs again.
Yeah, Waratahs have sort of settled better. I think the phonetic start to the game probably favours Buffs. Waratahs now seem to have got into their groove and got their structures right.
Gee, just look at the bodywork by Archer. There is a big boy, but Munro gets it into LaGrice this time. He dances around one defender in Eldridge, kicks it out to the lead of Silva. Very well placed. He'll play on. Now goes inboard, overcooks Magro, goes to Hutchins, and Hutchins has paid a free kick for a push in the back.
I love it when little Silva gets the ball. The boy from Nooka.
Yeah, very handy play for them. I think he's jumped on the team a few weeks in the season. Not sure if he was injured or if he was just back home, but he's been a very handy pickup for them since he's been in their side.
Just that little X factor, you know, he just has that speed and the knack of, you know, bringing off a great chase and tackle, or he gets to front and centre, and he just gives them that little bit something different. It's probably what they're lacking a little bit, Tars, I think, in their forward line, maybe just a bit more pace, probably across the field.
Hutchins kicks towards goal. It goes through. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Silva just sort of, he does that. A lot of their forwards, and they're not really forwards, they're just resting midfielders, whereas Silva does play that small forward role really well, and you've just seen there he's got a goal assist and plays a very important role for them.
He's just a little fella, but there's no substitute for that genuine pace, and he's got good hands. That's the thing I love about him, is that he's actually a one grabber. He's not a tapping player, so he's not one of the boys that will tap the ball and tap until it sits up for him. He'll actually go in with the intent to pick it up, and that's what you want to see him do. So I think he's a very valuable player for Waratahs.
Umpire ball's up in the middle as Waratah moves out to a 3-goal lead, and it's Sharples who gets it down to Collinson. He hands it off there to Remfrey towards goal. It's just a behind.
They need to be kicking these ones, Darwin.
It doesn't feel like a 3-goal lead, and gee, we've been talking about turnovers and not great turnovers. That one's gone straight down the throat of Eldridge, who's not one you want to have with the ball on a set shot inside 50, is he?
No. Timmy needs to kick this one for Darwin. As I said, they want to be in touch at quarter time, and now what are we ticking over? 23 minutes, so there wouldn't be long left in the quarter. And obviously they're going to have to work. They're going to have to work very hard to defend when Waratahs are kicking with this breeze.
So there goes the siren. Doesn't put Eldridge off, does it? He's snuck it home.
Well done, Timmy. They needed that one, and that's what your senior players have to do. You know, Timmy's a senior player now in the side, and he's had to kick that one basically after the siren to keep him in the hunt. So well done, Timmy Eldridge.
So ripping first quarter of footy there here at TIO Stadium for round 17 action of the 2021-22 TIO NTFL season. Specialty round down here, no more
we'll be back
round.
after this.
With a Darwin Buffs 2-3-15 to a Waratahs 4-2-26, leading into the first quarter break.
You know what great mates Territorians can be.
Always willing to lend a hand, or something else. So if they ever ask to borrow your car, as you know they will, you can say yes, knowing that your TIO comprehensive car insurance has them covered. Same as you. It's good to know.
So get a quote today.
TIO. We're for Territorians.
This weekend, we will wear orange armbands to show our support for the No More campaign.
We all have power to do something about family violence.
Call out disrespectful, racist and sexist behaviour.
Be there for someone if you think they're affected by family violence.
Just telling them they have your support and knowing someone cares might get them through that day. Your call could save a life.
If you see or hear something that doesn't seem right, report it.
Link up and say no more to family violence.
No more.
Kazali's Palmerston Club. Come and check out our cafe, open 7 days a week. Our kids club is open Wednesday to Sunday nights, including weekend lunchtime. Enjoy hot meals with nightly specials at the bistro or cold drinks at the sports bar. Feeling lucky? Have a go at the latest machines in our gaming lounge or grab your mates for a round of pool. Family gatherings or casual meetings, we have something for everyone. Kazali's Palmerston Club, making a difference.
Time to escape, cause I'm in need of warmer weather. Sail upon the stream to find there's someplace better. And I'm going far and wide.
Great Northern Brewing Co., the beer from up here.
You know Territorians are a hardy bunch.
Hats off to you. Whether you're new or you've been here forever, we know what the weather can throw at us. That's why TIO Home Insurance covers your home for cyclone, storm surge and flood. It's good to know. And with the only contact centre, claims team and assessors based in the Territory,
We're here when you need us most.
TIO, we're for Territorians.
AFL Northern Territory would like to remind spectators that congregating at the team huddles is not permitted during the breaks.
Welcome back to TIO Stadium. You're watching AFL&T's coverage of the 2021-22 TIO NTFL season. Round 17 action between Darwin Buffaloes and Waratah. The first break, it's Waratah who lead 4-2, 26 to Darwin Buffs, 2-3, in what, to be honest, has been a much more close contest than the scoreboard would suggest. I'm Wills with me is Damien Hale. What have your thoughts been on the game so far today, Haley?
Yeah, I thought Darwin started strongly and probably had opportunities that they should have taken. Will, so yeah, it was. I think they were okay. I'll just take my mask off. It felt really strange. So I just thought Darwin probably just failed to capitalise on that early possession. And as we've said all season, Waratahs can get that roll on, and they certainly know how to kick goals. So, they got their 4 goals relatively easily compared to the hard work that Darwin needed to do to get their goals. So I suppose the challenge now, that breeze is, around about 2 to 3 goals, and Darwin needs to really work hard. Their midfield needs to push back and be disciplined, and and work both ways to make sure that they're not, 4 or 5 goals down at half time. They really need to work up into this breeze now, Darwin.
And of course, they did kick one of those goals after that quarter time siren, Darwin, so reduced the margin from 17 points to 11 points. So yeah, could be a bit more than that.
Yeah, and I think Waratah is sitting second or third on the ladder. They're up there in the mix, and Darwin is sitting down, in 6th spot, trying to get into 5th spot in the next 2 weeks. So I think where they sit on the ladder sort of shows where the game is at the moment.
And of course, it is round 17. It's no more round, AFL-NT and no more. Been working together since 2015 to use the power of the NT footy community to change the way the public views family violence and raise awareness. You may have noticed the umpires wearing orange socks today. A bit harder to notice, but the players are also wearing orange armbands. So great to see the footy community get behind that. Quarter 2 action has started. We nearly had a flyer there from Corey Rich. He's given away a free kick inside 50. Got up there, didn't he?
Just as you were announcing the no more, there was a blue on it in the forward line. No one had told about 5 of them were into a fight. So there's certainly a no more was ignored out there then.
So the Buffs player kicks it down the wing to the big man Archard, and why wouldn't you? He couldn't take the mark. Now comes to Collis, intercepted there by Varodos. Great work there from the Buffs midfielder. Kicks inside 50, but straight down the throat of O'Dwyer, who's been a rock down there for them all year.
Very solid player, O'Dwyer. He's had a good year, hasn't he? He's just been really strong, consistent player.
Yeah, none of their backs have really stood out on top. They've had a pretty solid unit there, but O'Dwyer's probably the one leading the way, if any of them are. That kick down the line didn't pay off for them. It's rolled over for a boundary throw-in.
It's certainly livened up. There's the scuffle before the bounce in the second quarter, to start the second quarter, has got the crowd a little bit more vocal, and everyone's sort of woken up a bit, Will.
And I think historically these two clubs have a bit of a rivalry as well, which is obviously playing into it, but it has had a bit of heat behind it. This one, obviously, Tars looking for that second spot, and Buffs holding on to a faint hope of a finals berth. Here go Tars on the outside wing. Umpires blown a free kick, and it will go against Munro, and it could be on here in the centre square. No, it's extinguished by the umpires, but
yeah, I think there's a bit going on behind the play there. Munro's been reported, I think. Looks as though umpire Noonan looked. He's got his book out. Yep. Munro's gone.
Go the way of Aaron Stokes. Hands it over to Abala, who's got plenty of pace, but umpire's called him back, not ready to go just yet.
And the runner for Darwin there, Stephen Hayes, needs to be careful he doesn't get...
getting very close to me on the mark.
Getting very close. I think Hazy wants the handball and wants to go on with it.
And did I just see Noons report Stokes as well?
No, he would have gone and told him.
Okay, yeah.
So he's definitely taken Munro's number.
Umpire telling Brad Stokes to get out of it there. Kick went straight down the throat of Nick Gooch. Look to reload for Tars, finds Magro in the middle of the ground. He'll play on, roll onto his left. It's got Corey Rich on his own. Doesn't find him, and Buffs. Oh, high tackle there to Kirtley Silver. So he'll get a free kick inside 50 for Tars as well. Buffs defender not happy at all, is he?
No, he's not happy there, but I think the free kick was there.
Silver now goes out. Oh, just could have worked that a bit better, couldn't he? It's gone to Ian McDonald there. Now goes out to that far side, and a missed opportunity for Waratah. Finds Tom Clark, who's been one of their better players this year from what I've seen as well. Very handy acquisition. Now finds Varodos, turns one inside out, goes on his left, finds Cooper in the middle. An awkward kick out to the big man in Archard. Made him work for it. He rolls onto his left as well. Don't make a rucking kick on his wrong foot, Haley.
No, everyone had a collective sigh of relief when he handballed.
He's kicked inboard now. Good intercept from Brodie Carroll.
Yeah, Carroll worked back well then.
Comes to Collis. He goes down to Rich.
I watched Carroll come back through the midfield, working hard to the turnover zone, and he forced the turnover.
Corey Rich not happy with that. Said their player was over the mark, but umpires let it go. Silver put the pressure on Clark there.
Oh, he's quick,
hands
Silver.
Out, handball. Kicks it to the hot spot, does he? Yes. He does.
Oh, great work, Kirtley Silver there. Laid 2 tackles at the one time.
Don't mind a bit of Quicksilver, do we, Haley?
Well, they need him. And he's certainly, I'd love to see another one of those Nooker boys, or, don't know, a player like Henry Keranur, I don't know where he is at the moment. They lost Kim Cantilla. Those guys are, really important if you can find those type of forwards.
So Jack Hutchins walking in for his second. And he's just snuck it through. Made the goal umpire work, but that's his second on the board, and Waratah sneak out to a 17-point lead again. 5 goals, 2-32. They lead Darwin Buffaloes 2 goals, 3-15.
That was well done there by Silver. Just tackling like that's about attitude, and it's always been that way. If you're defence is attitude. It's very hard to teach guys if they're not willing to get in and put their bodies in to tackle and to harass, and that it's very hard to teach. So that was fantastic attitude from Kirtley, and forced a turnover, and Tars got the reward.
Tars looking to go again. Good hit out from Wilkins. He'll chase his own ball and kick it forward. Turnbull at the crumb of the ball. Got rid of it. No, he didn't. Umpire pings him for holding the ball, and Buffs are away. Comes to Bork on the back flank. Working up to the wing, hands it out wide to Jackson Clark. Runs his measure and kicks it. Collis intercepted there. But it pays off, goes into the hands of the Buffs player on that flank. Kicks to the hot spot. Good mark there by O'Dwyer. No! It's socket off the ground from Matt Watkins in the goal square.
Yeah, well done there. A little bit against the grain. And that was a good goal for Darwin. Keeps him in touch. Good bit of play there.
Let's just have a look at the replay here. Great kick from the forward 50. In fact, it was Adam Sombono who's kicked that goal there. Just to the hot spot, and as I said in that first quarter, you don't necessarily need to be accurate kicking to that centre corridor. Sometimes the pressure does the work for you.
Has he changed his number? He's never been 27, has he?
He has today. I think he's
21.
Usually sports a different number on the back of his jumper there. Big Ben Archard again. Goes to Tom Bork, and they're not done there. They want to get another one while they're on a row. Comes to Sharples at centre half forward. Kicks to the lead of Sambono in the pocket. Perfect.
Out. Beautiful kick, Charlie Sharples. Been in Adelaide for quite a number of years. Coached him back in the Thunder under-18s. Charlie played quite a number of games in the under-18 system for Thunder, and ended up going down to Adelaide. That was a beautiful kick. That's how your forwards want the ball delivered.
He did.
That's exactly where he wanted it.
He did have a shocker last week. His discipline let him down a couple of times, gave away a couple of 50s, so dare say the coach has had a word to him, and he's wanting to improve on his game. But Sam Bono, 2 in a row, dead straight that one was, and reduces the margin to 9 points. In fact, it's even less than that. It's 5 points. 4 goals, 3-27. Darwin Traz Waratah on 5 goals, 2-32.
Just discipline a little bit. Tars had the momentum of the game. And that report, when the report happened and the play was already in the Waratah's forward line, they would have been lining up for goals. So a little bit of an undisciplined act there from Munro. He's got himself in the book, and it's changed the momentum of this second quarter. Rightly so. Munro's been dragged as well. He's now waiting to come back on the bench, but he'll have to wait a bit more time there, I dare say. It's the umpire, ball's up in the middle again. Waratah Ruckman gets a hit out there against the grain, and they go forward now as well. Not a great kick, and it's a good mark in that back line there from Lee McDonald. He went to play on, he does now. Brad Stokes kicks it forward to Jackson Clark in that back line. He looks to play on as well to Cater Barlow. Not a great handball at all. Put him under pressure. And it's down to Collis. He ends up with his bum on the ground, and the umpire's giving a free kick in favour of him. So he goes short to his skipper in Turnbull. Big kick inside 50 now. Brodie Carroll, the target, couldn't take the mark. And Buffs will rebound. No, they won't, not just yet. Collis gets her hands up. Yeah, sloppy bit of play there. Free kick to Will Collis. Come over the top.
He's just, his opposition's just falling into his back as he's giving the hands off. A little bit of spite in there. Again, Brad Stokes, the milestone man that time, getting into Corey Rich, but they've settled now.
Bradley Stokes playing his 100th game today for the Darwin Football Club, famous Darwin Football Club name, the Stokeses. And he's been a stalwart of the Buffalo's backline for a long time. So congratulations, Brad, on his 100th.
And Collis goes to Corey Rich. Just kept napping.
I'm not even going to talk about Rich with his back to the play, but that's all right. I'll just get off his case on that.
I think we've both given him a full whack over the course of season 21-22.
He needs to kick this one just to steady it for the Tars.
Bit of twinkle toes. Gee, will it pay off for him? It's come back. Didn't look confident off the boot at all. I didn't like his run up, but sometimes if it goes through, that's all you need it to do.
Bit of Wazza Macbram about the run up as well as the reverse swing, but he got it there in the end. He's actually reverse swung the new ball well. Because usually that ball would have gone through, traditionally it would have gone through the point post to the left, and it came back against that. And so I think he's got something there, Rich. He's got to work on that.
He's definitely improved his goal kicking as the season's gone on. I think prior to Christmas, I called him a couple of games in a row there with 2 behinds, 3 behinds, 2 behinds, and since Christmas he's had a couple of bags.
He's been consistent, hasn't he? He's been a very consistent player all year for Tars.
Marsh hacks the ball forward, and it'll be a free kick to Aaron Stokes. He's been under hot pursuit from the Tars players today.
It's really hard to actually call this game because the free kicks are getting called well away from the ball, so the umpires are onto any sort of holding or any jumper pulling that's not within 5 metres. So they're picking up on it, so I wonder if it'll go all day like that.
Collis tried to intercept there, only got it as far as don't. He goes inboard to Turnbull. Turnbull goes to Magro. He plays on. He's quick off the mark, isn't he? He kicks to the hot spot. Just overcooks it, rolls over the boundary line. Don't mind that from Magro.
Yeah, he probably needed a positive lead. It seemed like no one had sort of read that Magro had marked it and then just went. None of the forwards hit up straight. If one of the forwards had a nice 45-degree angle lead, it would have just been lace out to Magro.
They're definitely targeting Stokes there. LaGrice just getting into him as well. That's Aaron Stokes. Seems to be copping the brunt of it today. Brody Carroll extracts it out of the pack, throws it on the left, and that's a great goal from the co-captain. Good job there, Brody Carroll.
Yeah, he's a good player. Often sides will have somebody that you'll target, and it's not a thing where you go and try to knock a bloke's head off or jaw him, but it's about putting some pressure onto one particular player, and that maybe, I don't know whether Waratahs have done that, but it seems as though Aaron Stokes has been getting a fair bit of attention. So maybe they think, well, we'll rough one of them up a little bit. It brings other players into it. Certainly Darwin's discipline will be tested if that's what's going on.
Particularly if he's got a Stokes last name. There's a couple of family members out there who will have his back for sure.
Yep. And there was a fair bit of at the start of the second quarter, there was a fair bit going on down in the forward line.
Little Catabala trying to get into Brody Carroll there as well. Neither of them have the biggest muscles, so not sure who'll come off best there if they get onto it. But the ball goes down the other end in Buff's forward line, and here comes O'Dwyer again. Very tight kick, but it'll pay off for him. Great kick there, he's worked to Corey Rich. He'll play on, he's unmanned. Now kicks it down. It's Carroll works his body very well in front of Abala. He goes to Magro. Quicksilver now off the mark, kicks towards goal. Overcooks
disappointed with that. He trapped it well though. Just the ball movement again from Waratah is excellent, very quick. Brody Carroll onto Magro, just a missed target. It's just this time of the game now where Darwin just need to keep their heads. They've done very well. They're in the contest still, and they don't want to be undisciplined, and ill-disciplined stuff now will cost them. Heading towards the middle of the quarter.
Ball comes into Abala. He goes back to Clark, and they don't have a lot forward, so they're just chipping around their back line. Stokes now out to Jackson Clark. A lot of double-up names in that back line. He goes to Archard.
What's a double-up name?
Lots of Clarks, lots of Stokes, Haley.
Oh, makes it easy to call them.
2 Clarks makes it very easy to call.
You should have commentated up here in the 80s when there was 7 longs at St Mary's.
Last week I think I had 4 Motlops as well, which makes it easy. Motlop to Motlop to Motlop.
Yeah, that's it.
And Abala finds himself in possession of the ball on half-back for Darwin Buffaloes. Goes back to Archard. Umpire has none of it. Will come back. Gee, Abala didn't want to take the kick there at all, did he? He goes back to Brad Stokes. Now he goes to Jackson Clark on that back flank.
Yeah, very crowded, isn't it?
Back to Stokes.
It's almost Waratah set up like a soccer formation. they've got like a 3-3-5-5 sort of set up.
There's just nothing to go to.
Turnover.
Done very well. Collis trying to take possession. He's under pursuit by Cooper. It's pushed to the ground off the ball. Plenty of spot in this one, and Cooper's getting into him again, middle of the ground. Back to the play. I think it's Munro there who's wrapped up.
Yeah, I think both sides would be better served at playing the football and staying away from some of the stuff, giving it to each other after behind the play.
Umpires pulled out a free kick there to Archard. He goes forward to Tom Clark. Ball spills over the boundary line. Good contest there from Ross.
It makes it difficult to call the game and umpire the game, but it makes it even more difficult to watch.
Yeah.
when there's all these little spot fires going on, and it's not really part of the football or how footy should be played.
As an umpire as well, you want to be paying free kicks on the ball, not free kicks off the ball, but you've got to make sure you extinguish it.
Yeah.
And they've pulled another free kick there, this time in Waratah's favour.
Eye contact. Ross had his head over the ball. That's the rule. You hear people yell out, "Are you serious? Is that correct?" But yeah, he's got his head over the ball. You can't just cannon into him. That's how you end up with people in wheelchairs and footballers breaking their necks. That sort of attack on it.
Carroll goes inboard to Cree, now with Bowd. Coming through the middle of the ground, kicks it inside forward 50. And Marshall sort of left unattended there. He's had two bites of the cherry that taken the mark. In fact, it's Corey Rich. He's turned his back there quickly. But I think he'll have another shot, Haley.
Oh, there's no doubt. If he was a racehorse, he'd be $1 to have a shot.
To his credit, he did turn around pretty quick, but I think very quickly he worked out, no, this is mine for the taking. See what he can do with it. Punches at it.
Well, he's gone back and nailed it. Well done, Corey.
And he gives a double fist pump to the Buffs crowd.
Yeah, the Buffs crowd are appreciating the engagement. He's getting a fair bit of advice.
So they extend their lead. It's 8 goals, 3-51. Waratah leading Darwin Buffaloes on 4 goals, 3-27 as we tick towards 17 minutes into this second quarter of round 17 here at TIO Stadium for AFLNT's coverage of the 2021-22 season. And of course, it's no more round. So as we've mentioned a couple of times today, the umpires wearing orange socks to raise awareness, and players out there have got orange armbands on as well. Play restarts now. And it's Marshall who gets a hit out for Waratah. Ball works forward. Turnbull overran it. Munro, outside 50, kicks to the hot spot. Good mark there on the line from Jack Hutchins. He's got 2 already.
Good strength, Hutchins. I'm pretty sure he's Jack Hutchins from the Gold Coast Suns.
And he's gone inboard, but the umpire again will call him back. He could well be, Haley.
Yeah.
Very talented footballer, Jack Hutchins was. Also played a fair bit down at Casey Scorpions. I think he did his 100 games and out.
Yep.
So he runs around, Hutchins does, and kicks his third and puts them up by 30 points.
Yeah, that was always the danger. And Buffaloes need to just really hang in here because there's probably 4 to 5 minutes left in the quarter. And Waratahs could quite easily skip away with 3 or 4 more goals and put this game almost to bed by half time. But Darwin just need to keep their heads, man up. Don't try to solve all the problems of the world yourself. Just play your role and keep their discipline. So hopefully they can. Otherwise, this could be a little bit of a blowout by half time.
As we said, Waratah chasing percentage as well, so they won't be taking their foot off the throttle as well, and they have a tough game next week against the ladder leaders in Nightcliff. Marsh on Archard, a bit of a 0-0 draw there, but Archard will take the crumbs, throws on the boot. It's an up and down sort of ball out onto that far wing. Cree at the bottom of it couldn't take the mark. He'll have another chance, so gets it out to Marsh. He hacks it forward. Stokes tried the one-hander, but was under pressure from Munro. Munro now at the bottom of the pack, ball still slipping out. Stokes goes out to Jackson Clark, kicks it very wide to Bork on that wing, and he takes the mark, so he'll settle. No, he won't. He'll keep going. Not sure about that. Overcooked it. And it's a 2-on-1 in favour of Tars, and we'll roll over the boundary line. So worked out okay for Buffs there. Gained some meterage, but they did it the hard way.
Yeah, it's been hard for them all night, really. Zambono's been the only one who's really looked like he's comfortable up there and been able to kick some easier goals. So it's just a real battle for Buffaloes going forward.
There they go forward now. Cooper at the 4 couldn't take the mark. Ball bounce out from Collis. He'll get it back. Handballed straight to Tom Clark. He couldn't take possession. Now with Roberts. He'll go out there to Sam Bono. Back to Clark.
Nice
forward
vision.
Pocket. And there's a player by himself in Tom Bork.
Yeah, good vision there from Tommy Clark. He didn't blast away. Probably within his range. He's got a nice leg on him, Tom, but he saw, is that the TikTok play?
Tommy Bork in that forward pocket, that's him. And Tommy Clark's just looking a bit ginger running to the interchange. We'll keep an eye on him. But Tommy Bork in that forward pocket, he's the TikTok superstar, so I'm told.
Do you make money out of that?
I don't know. I'm not a TikTok fan myself, so I've never heard of him outside of footy. He's hit the post there. Don't know if that'll go on the highlights for him.
You're more an influencer on hair products.
Oh, something like that, Haley. You've stitched me up there.
Is that like a bit of a you and Damu rinse through that?
There's a bit of a rinse a few months ago that I've maintained and looked after, but
it's a bit of a Central Australian look.
I'm very glad that you can't see us. You can just see the footy at the moment. Collis now, speaking of dyed hair, gets it back to Bowd. He goes out, and it was Waratah who was under pressure, lost the ball, and gave a tackle. Ball goes over the boundary line. Yeah, just a bit of colour through the hair, Haley.
No, I like it. I reckon it's good. You're always full of surprises.
Always keeping people on their toes.
Well, that's what you set. You actually set trends. You don't follow them.
That's it.
I like that. I like that about you.
Ball works over the boundary line in the Buffs forward pocket. In fact, it's out on the full, so Waratahs will kick it back in. Coming very long to Nick Gooch. 2 bites of the chair and he takes the mark easy. He assesses his options. Plays slowed down quite considerably now. I think they're just hanging on for that half-time break. We're ticking towards 22 minutes, so it can't be far off. Collis couldn't take the mark there. Now comes through to Moroney. He kicks it forward. Just gains meterage. That's what his aim was, and that's what he got.
Yeah, stem the flow a little bit here. For those people that want to know what Will's hair looks like, it's a cross between Shirley Temple and Julia Gillard. There you go.
Can't really.
It's the red curls.
I'm not in a position to comment, Haley. Magro gets the hands forward. In fact, it's out the back. Eldridge at the bottom again. And gee, that's a wayward kick from Carroll. Very rare error out on the full.
It's got a little bit ugly there, not only in the commentary box, but out on the field.
Oh, that's a stitch up for sure. Tommy Clark plays on, kicks it inside 50. Sam Bono the target. Try to take the one-hander. It'll be Dill Collis mopping it up. He kicks it across goal. Pays off. Goes to Waratah. Now he goes out to O'Dwyer. He finds his man on that back flank as well. Now the ball comes down. Gee, don't know about that. Intercepted. He plays on. Goes inside. Sambono again the target. Is that a Falcon? I'm not quite sure.
Pretty close.
He'll have another chance.
Yeah, high tackle.
High tackle in favour of Darwin Buff. So that's gone the way of... is it Colin Wilson there?
Yep.
He doesn't look too confident either. He might not have a choice. We're very close to the half-time break.
Yeah, Cole Wilson. Yep. They need this one.
He walks in. Give it everything he's got. Gee, not a clean kick, and there's a 3-on-1 in the goal square in favour of Tars. They've set that up again very well. George kicks it out of that offensive 50. He'll come back again to that time it was Remfrey. Now the ball goes in forward, and it's again with Colin Wilson. He gives it off to Remfrey. Into the pocket now to Collinson. He goes towards goal. Is he threaded the needle? Oh, he's just hit the post.
Well, I think Joey liked that there for a minute, Joey Collinson. Didn't quite work for him, but good little bit of play there. Wilson's getting his hands on it. Buffaloes are fighting it out at the moment, till seeing themselves through till half time. And
what's happened there? Collis has played on out of the square, then come to a complete halt. He's got it back now. He's run down. Great effort from the Buffs defender. And he's getting stuck into him. Don't give it away.
Oh, it's Eldridge. It's Timmy Eldridge.
And he's given away a free kick, if you ask umpire Noonan. No, it's a 50-metre penalty. And so, Big Ben Archard players remonstrating again. I think that's Jackson Park in there as well.
There's a bit going on.
So it'll be Eldridge taking the kick by the looks of it. He's got the ball in his hands.
Well, he kicked a goal after the siren in the first quarter, didn't he?
Maybe that's his speciality today, Haley.
So Timmy's... there's a fair bit still going on. Waratahs would be better off walking to their bench and regrouping for the second half.
Slide angle about 30 metres out when he kicks it. Probably closer than that even. And he kicks that one. He gets stuck into Collis and O'Dwyer's coming in to remonstrate. O'Dwyer on Sharples. Sharples known for a bit of a hothead the past couple of weeks. And it's
settle down, boys.
Getting on.
The treasurer of both clubs is nervous because they don't mind handing out a few fines, the AFL NT.
And it dissipates a bit there.
They must think the clubs are rolling in money, Will. Yeah, you don't like to see the melees because they sit there with the calculator going there. That's 50, 100, 150, 200.
And so that'll be half-time. It's Waratah with the lead, 9 goals, 3, 57 leading Darwin Buffaloes, 5 goals, 5, 35. It's a 22-point margin. We'll be back after this break.
You know what great mates Territorians can be. Always willing to lend a hand or something else. So if they ever ask to borrow your car, as you know they will, you can say yes, knowing that your TIO comprehensive car insurance has them covered. Same as you. It's good to know. So get a quote today. TIO. We're for Territorians.
This weekend, we will wear orange armbands to show our support for the No More campaign.
We all have power to do something about family violence.
Call out disrespectful, racist and sexist behaviour.
Be there for someone if you think they're affected by family violence.
Just telling them they have your support and knowing someone cares might get them through that day. Your call could save a life.
If you see or hear something that doesn't seem right, report it.
Link up and say no more to family violence.
No more.
Absolutely zero.
Zero.
Yeah, definitely.
It has to be zero.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I don't think that's asking too much.
Domestic violence is everybody's business.
And it's not just the physical abuse, it's the things we don't see.
It is hurting our families. It is killing our families.
A lot of people have been silent to this fact, and I think it's about time we all speak up together and say no more to this form of abuse.
No more.
No more. No more family violence.
No more to the family violence.
No more. No more.
No more.
Everyone feels stressed or worried from time to time.
There's no shame in asking for help.
Yarning to friends or family can make you feel better.
Sometimes it's as simple as a text or a phone call.
If you or someone you know needs support,
visit www.mentalhealthnt.com.au.
Listen up, kids. Make school your story. Help you succeed.
succeed and rise to glory.
Safe to go to school.
So go the distance. Attend every day. Learn and listen. School holiday rockin', we love our break.
Time with friends and family is always great.
When it's time for school, don't get slack.
It's safe to go to school, can't wait to get back. So don't cut corners.
Do the full term. It's safe to go to school and it's time to learn. So don't cut corners, do the full term. Make school your story and it's time to learn.
School returns February 2021. Written and authorised by the Northern Territory Government.
Time to escape, cause I'm in need of warmer weather. Sail upon the stream to find there's someplace better. And I'm going far and wide.
Great Northern Brewing Co. The beer from up here.
At Muzz keep cool this summer with our new range of frappes, including cookies and cream, chai and matcha. You can also enjoy our totally scrumptious range of food and snacks. Australian owned and operated. Muzz, great coffee is just the beginning.
On Territory roads, anything can happen. So you need to drive to the conditions. Speeding can get you into all sorts of trouble. Dirt roads aren't just dusty. When it's hard to see, they're dangerous. At water crossings, remember, you're driving a motor car, not a boat. High water can be deep trouble. All sorts of animals can be on the road, so watch out. And if the weather is bad, slow down, you mob. Drive to the conditions and arrive in good condition.
The time to kickstart your business is now. Get your message across with the experienced local TV production team at Kick Digital. Cost effective, rapid turnaround, exceptional service. Kick Digital. Television production energised.
CFS Schoolwear is the perfect choice for quality custom-made school uniforms. Ideal for all school-related activities. 50 or 500 students, we have what you need. Contact CFS Gear for your free CFS Schoolwear quote today.
Vaccinate to protect our players,
to protect our coaches,
to protect our umpires,
to protect our supporters,
to protect our game.
Head to the Danila Dilba website for more information.
Getting my hands on the footy and just being with my mates.
I like being outdoors. It just makes me happy. I don't like it when I get yelled at.
It's pretty embarrassing when someone's shouting at you halfway through the game.
It makes me feel like I'm useless and I can't do anything.
We're just kids.
We're just here to have fun.
Let us do what we love.
Just let kids be kids.
You know Territorians are a hardy bunch. Hats off to you. Whether you're new or you've been here forever, we know what the weather can throw at us. That's why TIO Home Insurance covers your home for cyclone, storm surge and flood. It's good to know. And with the only contact centre, claims team and assessors based in the Territory, we're here when you need us most. TIO, we're for Territorians.
AFL Northern Territory would like to remind spectators that congregating at the team huddles is not permitted during the breaks.
Welcome back to TIO Stadium. You're watching AFL&T's coverage of the 2021-22 TIO NTFL season. It's round 17 action between Darwin Buffaloes and Waratah. I'm Will Zwar, with me is Damien Hale. And at half-time, it's 5 goals, 5-35 Darwin trails Waratah on 9 goals, 3-57. We could be in for an interesting half of footy, Haley. Last week, both Waratah and Darwin, despite the relatively decent scoring first half we've seen, they only scored a goal each last week in the second half, so hopefully they don't follow trend. Would love to see some more goals, but it's been a pretty interesting game so far, a lot of fire in it.
Yeah, it's been entertaining, I suppose, when sides are playing to get in finals, and the guys are going to get pretty passionate. So I think Buffs are down to 20 though. I'm pretty sure Jared Stokes has gone for the game, and also Jaden Kickett in the first quarter, so Buffs will be doing it tough from here.
Umpire hauls it up, and Archard again gets a hit out. Thomas Clark looks set to be recipient. A pretty heavy contest with Collis. Ball comes forward courtesy of Rodos, but it'll be the other Collis rebounding from the defensive 50. Magro tries to tap it on to George. Only gets it into his own possession. He's wrapped up in a tackle by Colin Wilson. And umpire calls for a ball up.
Yeah, Tommy Clark's still down behind play. Heavy collision with Will Collis.
Archard gets the tap out. Goes to Munro. Another heavy contest there with Collis. Vrodos in the thick of it. Luke Roberts tackled and run down. Wilkins tried to get down to it. He's a big fella, Wilkins. He's wrapped up. Umpire with another ball up. So it started with a fair bit of heat again this second half, Haley.
Yeah, Colin Wilson in there throwing himself around, and he started to get a little bit of it in the second quarter as well, Wilson.
Here comes Munro, no stranger to controversy this game. He's been reported already. Magro was put under pressure there, gave up the ball. Now comes out to the skipper in Turnbull. He gets free, runs to 50, kicks it inside. Great kick there to Hutchins as he paid mark. No, umpire calls play on. And it'll be a ball up, about 20 out directly in front.
Tommy Clark's coming off. It appears to be some sort of rib injury, I reckon.
So it could be down in, he's holding his left arm pretty gingerly as well. Could be down to 19 players. There's a shot on goal from Waratah, goes astray, and it's through for a behind. So they extend their margin out now to 23 points. Stokes kicks it inboard now to Remfrey as Clark goes into the change rooms. Remfrey looks to give back to Stokes. He goes out to Eldridge. Very tight on the boundary line. They're being pressured by Waratah. Now goes inboard. Good strong hands there by Vrodos.
It had to be a good kick, and it was from Eldridge.
Nothing ahead of him, but he's got the run of Cooper, which he'll find. Cooper did very well to get out the back there. Takes one bounce, runs inside 50, takes a second, kicks it over the top. I think there was a stray hand in there.
Oh dear.
From the defender, and it's just enough. They're under pressure now. Matt Watkins kicks towards goal and snaps for the first, the second half.
They made hard work of it, but they got it done in the end, Will.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Hassan Matt Watkins has kicked the goal there. It's his first for the game. He's having a pretty good year for them. He's kicked the most goals for them with 17. That's now his 18th for the season, and I saw him kick a bag of 8 in round 2. So if he gets it, he knows how to find the big sticks.
And you get the ball in there quickly. Like the 1v1 will always favour the attacking team, and even 2 versus 2. But the more defenders that get back there, the more likely they are to stop a goal. So Buffalo's key is to get the ball in there quickly, like they did then, and they got the reward.
We've seen a couple of goals down both ends from that hot spot as well, which it looks like both teams are just trying to get in that centre corridor about 20-25 metres out and letting the pressure do the rest of the work. Gooch putting some pressure of his own there.
Love the Gooch.
On the high half back flank. Try to get it out to Collis. In there as well with Zach Griffiths for Waratah. Now comes out to Collis. Umpires let the ball go. Cree comes out the back, kicks it forward to the runner Turnbull. Good strong mark in the centre of the ground there. He'll go back. Kicked out wide. I think all the players didn't expect the ball to go there, and his teammates the beneficiary of it. Too far out to score. Kicks it again to that hot spot. Carroll's there lurking. Takes a good strong mark.
Good mark, Carroll. And
Abala sort of took it out of his hands on ground level, but the umpires paid it Carroll's favour against unsolicited advice from Buffs faithful.
Buffs faithful and not happy with that decision. But good ball movement again from Tars, and Gooch and those guys down in their back half, they really do put themselves in, and that ball came out to Turnbull. I think he sliced the kick a little bit. I think it was meant for probably Hutchins on the lead, but it fell fortunately into the Waratahs players' hands. And now the pro, I call this guy the pro, Carroll.
He's just hit the post.
I've given him the curse.
The commentator's curse.
He is the pro.
Oh, I gave
the way he goes about it.
I gave it to the milestone man kick it last week, which is not what you want to do for him on his 150th, but it happens to the best of us, Haley. Now with Buffs in their defensive 50, looking to exit. Not a great kick. Now comes to Munro. He kicks it again to Carroll. He'll take a second mark and he'll have a second opportunity to kick his second major for the day. No, he'll play on. Unselfish play from the pro. And he goes into the forward pocket.
Yeah, that often happens because you set up your zone, and then if you get the turnover, you've got all these spare players that are in their zone. So Buffalo's tried to get out of there by flooding to one area, and once a turnover happens, all these free players are back in the zone. So they could have raffled that one. There was about 4 of them, Waratahs.
I think this might be our mate Corey Rich Haley.
I love him.
He walks in.
Balls up. Ooh, they've got a case of the yips at the moment, Tars.
3 behind so far this quarter. Meanwhile, the Buffs took full advantage of their single opportunity for a goal, and it is a 19-point advantage in favour of Waratah.
Probably a 2-goal breeze still. The flags are fluttering to the right of screen, so Buffs will need to utilise the breeze while they've got it. Try to get back within touch by 3/4 time.
Looking to be creative. There's not a lot going forward, so they need to try something different. Ball now comes to Remfrey, to Bork. He's put down after he's hit it. And we've seen a fair bit of fire in this game already. Noticed at halftime both club presidents, Roland Langworthy for Tars and Sean Pearce for Buffs, having a chat with the league CEO just on the boundary line. I imagine that heat would have come up into discussion already. But I dare say there'll be plenty more to come. Archard and Wilkins again in the ruck. Been a pretty good battle so far. Archard definitely leading so far, as you'd expect. Gets the ball down. Bork couldn't take it cleanly, and Wilkins now finds himself wrapped up. Umpire will call for a ball up.
Yeah, a bit of a stalemate at the moment. Both sides just feeling themselves out at the start of this second half.
Archard gets a hit out down. Vrodos wrapped up by Collis. And Ping for holding the ball. I didn't think he would have had a lot of opportunity there, but the umpires thought he did. So it'll be Will Collis kicking it across to Wilkins. Just outside the tip. He goes to Dill Collis now. Back to the skipper in Turnbull. He was wrapped up. Ball's popped out. Now has come in, and it's an absolute shanker out on the full deep in that forward pocket for Waratah.
Comedy of errors there. Waratahs are way more effective when they sort of lift their eyes and look up towards Jack Hutchins. He's been very dominant. Don't muck around with it. Get it into him, and if he doesn't mark it, one of the small guys will get it.
So Buffs now come deep down that back flank. Wilkins flew, and he's given away a free kick. I didn't see it in there, but the umpires thought it was. Archard will have an opportunity to launch it forward.
Say one thing, the umpires are earning their money.
Absolutely.
It's been very busy out there tonight for them.
Sam Bono called for it and led for it, but it'll be Gooch wrapping up again. He goes...
Spread it, boys, spread.
Back to O'Dwyer. Across goal, Cooper. What can he do?
Goes.
He's got it in pole position here, runs around on his right, snaps towards goal, and he's very happy with that one. So a coach killer there from Gooch. And Buffs are very happy. They're back in this one, and it comes back to 13 points.
I think the idea was right. They had 3 players, and just the execution was poor. And little Cooper, if you're called Cooper and you're playing in the forward line, there's a good chance you've got speed.
Yep.
And he's got plenty of it, and he knows where the goals are. So opportunistic goal in the end, sort of probably against the run of play a little bit, but they're the ones that Buffaloes need to get them back within 13 points, and hopefully they can get the next couple and make a game of this.
Well, they've kicked 2 to start this quarter. You probably wouldn't have expected that. They kicked They should have been down by more at half time. Obviously, Eldridge kicked his second after the siren, and it was brought it back to 22 points. It's now down to just 13, so we've got a game on our hands here, Hayley, and they do have the win this quarter, but looks like they're trying to make the most of it while they've got it. Archard again gets a hit out down. Collinson kicks it forward. Another clearance for Buffs. That's been one of their strengths today. That's as far as they get it. Collis gets it to Carroll. Back to Collis. Back to Carroll. Pinging along the ground. Cooper, I think he got it forward. Sambono the target, but a good fist in there from the Tars defender. Now out to LeGrice. Exits 50, kicks it long down the wing. Overcooked it there. I think it was Marsh trying to get his hands on it. George in there as well. And Buffs just work it. G. Silver was quick there. Put his man on the ground. LeGrice again, just with a little volley. Buffs working it forward again. No one can take clean possession. And here we might have a chain going on. Handball comes out over to Griffiths. Goes back.
It's better. A little bit cleaner there.
Now with Carroll, he's got a few runners. Munro's one of them. If he keeps going, he's got Don't on the outside. He won't. He'll go to George. Probably should have gone on that outside, but he maybe didn't hear him. Now comes back.
Haven't seen Tommy Clark come out of the rooms either.
And they've just got the one man on the bench there.
There's one on the bench at the moment.
Buffs moving forward. Armat Watkins will take possession. No, he won't. Boundary line beats him to it. They're looking lively up there, Hayley.
Yeah, they're looking dangerous, Buffaloes. I'd just be interested to know how Thomas Clark's going, because if he doesn't come back, he looked very sore when he came off. They'll be down to one on the bench. And I think Waratahs have still got their full four on the interchange.
Yeah, there's four sitting down there now.
That'll certainly be a problem in the back end of the game for Darwin.
Archard gets a tap down. There
it is.
Very clean, clear footy there. And that's a goal, I think, to Gareth Remfrey.
There's a bit of a storm coming out from the Palmerston area, so Buffalo's about now will need the wind to swing around and start going to the left of screen, which does happen up here, doesn't it, Will? So they need that to happen at about the 20-minute mark of the third quarter, so they can have it in the last quarter as well.
So they've got a run on now, Bus. Their fourth goal in a row, their third this quarter, and it's just 7 points.
There's a fair bit of finger pointing going on in the Waratahs midfield. So trying to work out what's going on here. A lot of pointing and a fair few theories. I think they've just got to get in and get back into winning the football. That's their problem. When they get first use of the ball, they're very good, Waratahs, and in the last 10 minutes or so, Darwin have wrested that off them.
They've brought their superstar Magro into the fold to see if they can win the centre ball there, but again, Buffaloes look to get to it first. The two Collis boys duck and dive over each other. One of them was taken high. He's paid a free kick. It's still Collis. He looks to move very quickly. Magro's out on his near wing. Umpire again calls him back and says, you've got to go off. You've got to get stitched up, son. A bit of a blood rule situation there. He'll be replaced by James Waratah.
Yeah, Tommy Clark's up on the interchange, is he? Yeah, he's just sitting down there, so I think he's right.
He's changed his number. He'll be wearing 42 if he comes back on after Jaden Kickett's obviously sitting the game out. Rob Turnbull now on that forward flank, too far out to score. Kicks it towards goal. Good mark again from Hutchins.
He's been strong up there. He may end up the difference tonight. I think he's just giving them a target, and he's taking his marks. He's kicking goals, and I don't see that Darwin hasn't got anyone like that at the moment that's doing that for them.
He's got 3 already tonight, and he'll be kicking this one from about 25 out on about a 50-degree angle.
50? Is that a
50-degree angle? Bit wider than 45. Bit too much for him. It's just through for a behind. So they extend the margin, which has gotten very slim recently. It's just 8 points at the moment. Now with Moroney in the back pocket, he goes out to Abala. He's got pace and he'll play on. Gee, cutting kick, but didn't find his target. And now it'll be Wilson, gets the hands back to Abala. He got his hands off, nearly got flung around. He'll get it back again. He'll roll around himself. And gee, a bit of a ball head bobbler there. Turnbull kicks it to the hot spot. No one can take the mark, but Hutchins is at the fall. Geez, shanked that one.
Didn't get it through. Better from Tars though, but they just seem to be under more pressure than they need to be. I think at times they think they're under pressure, Tars, and they're just rushing things, just that perceived pressure. The Buffaloes have put them under.
Now with Jackson Clark in the back pocket. Plays on, looks a bit uncertain. Goes out to that flank to big man Archard, and safe hands wherever he is. He's taken the mark there.
He's been good, hasn't he?
He goes long down the line as well. Armat Watkins, the target, and he stayed at the back of the pack. Couldn't take the mark, but gets the hands forward. Roberts will run onto it. Needs to wait for forwards and options ahead of him. He gets tackled and slung around. And got the hands out, but he's lost about 20 metres of space. And umpire's pulled out a free kick, Buff's favour.
Big fella, he's got another kick there. Someone run past him for a handball.
Matt Watkins calling for it. Not beyond him. It's sort of where he goes. Radar a bit off. And it's out on the full.
So Waratah's midfielders have got to, their star players need to step up at the moment. They look as though they've sort of all gone to sleep a little bit and looking for other people to do the work. Get out there and get in there and do some work yourself.
Gooch goes back to Griffiths. They'll look for the switch now.
That's better.
Bowd plays on. He goes.
Here they go. They've got the overlap now. Rich just got to get it over the top quickly.
He's got Turnbull in plenty of space. You can't leave Turnbull in that much space. He'll play on. We'll go to Waratah. Under pressure, but it's a good kick. Inside 50. Didn't hit the target. Jackson Clark running back. Very dangerous. Try to get around Collis. It'll work out for him. No, it won't. Ball bounces over the boundary line, and Puffs have coughed one up there.
Sort of playing between the 250 arcs at the moment. The ball goes down one side. They take it out. They sort of look as though they get the overlap. Then there's a mistake kicking across the stripe. Then Buffaloes get it, and they do the same thing. So it's just trying to get that kick across the stripe, the most important kick in footy.
16 minutes gone in this third quarter here at TIO Stadium. And Sharple's getting involved as well. They ping him for holding the ball, and they let him know about it.
Yeah, I don't think Munro will be on the Christmas card list next year from the Buffaloes guys. He certainly upset them tonight.
And we've just, as I said, we're just ticking towards 17 minutes here in this third quarter, and Tar's yet to kick a goal. They've kicked 5 behinds this quarter. Meanwhile, Darwin, they've kicked 3 goals straight.
Waratah's putting plenty of changes out there, plenty of rotations, and that's going to really stretch the Buffaloes guys in the last 40 minutes of this game.
Tom Clark yet to come on. Eldridge mops it up, but he's tackled over the boundary line.
You're looking time on. We're heading towards 20 minutes third quarter. Buffalo's down to just 2 on the bench, and it'll be telling in the last part of this game, I think.
It's Archard and Wilkins in the ruck. Bypasses both of them. Sharple's try to get a foot into it, but he's overrun it as well. Ball at the bottom of the pack now. Umpire, another ball up on this near side wing. Ball comes down. Magro takes possession. No, he doesn't. Umpire's pulled out a free kick, and it'll go in favour of Buffaloes to Remfrey. He kicked that last goal for them. He goes out wide now to Roberts. Roberts has got a man on about 20 metres forward in Collinson, but he doesn't go to him. He's got a few other players leading. He'll go deep into the pocket to Armat Watkins. Oh, couldn't take the mark. Clark there to crumb it. He's tackled. Gives up the ball. Now comes out to Munro. He goes down the line as well. Very close, and in fact it's out on the full, so it'll go straight to Morangi. And he goes inboard. Turnbull tries to shrug the Bradley Stokes tackle, and is pinged for holding the ball.
Yeah, good tackle there from Bradley Stokes. They needed that one. I think Tars are out.
Goes inboard to Archard. Anyone would think he's a midfielder, not a ruckman, Archard.
Yeah, he's getting plenty of it.
Now Tommy Balk, the TikTok star.
If you're playing half-back, you'd just be cruising past him all day.
Just look for where he is, because there's a good chance the ball's going to go there as well. Ball goes now inboard to McDonald. He goes inside 50 and hits up Armat Watkins on the chest.
They get out there to the space. It was good play there from the big guy in the ruck. Got the ball to the space, and Darwin, if they go to space, they're always going to have the advantage of speed on their side. Sure, they make errors, they cough it up a little bit, they have turnovers, they overrun it. It's a little bit haphazard. They don't sort of stick to a really solid structure, but they've got a lot of speed, and that's a real bonus for them.
So in walks Armat Watkins. He'll be about 45 out when he kicks it. Goal umpire barely moves, and that's gone through. So Buffs are on a roll. They're 5th in a row, and they trail by just 3 points as we edge towards 20-minute mark of this third quarter here at TIO Stadium.
Well,
we've got a game on our hands, Haley.
We have, and Darwin have the wind's actually dropped. The flags are straight down, so there's no advantage at the moment to the right of screen. And Darwin are certainly up and about. Waratahs are swinging some changes, trying to get their balances right, particularly in the midfield and also down back. And that little bit of pace, as I sort of alluded to earlier, that Buffaloes have that pace to really worry the Waratahs backline. The backline of Waratahs has been solid all year, but if there was one knock against them, is they're not overly quick.
It's been a pretty even quarter. Both sides, or Buffs, have had 4 scoring shots to Tars 5, but it's been 4 goals to 5 behinds, which good kicking is good footy, bad kicking is bad footy, but that's what's really turned the tide in this game so far. Marsh gets a hit out down there. Collinson at the bottom of the pack. Now comes out to Rich. He goes inside 50. Ball's tapped there, and Bradley Stokes be first to it. He's got support. Gets around one offender and kicks it just over the top of Kirtley Silver. Finds Tommy Bork. Handballs it over the top to McDonald. He finds Cooper on that far wing. They don't have a lot forward. Meanwhile, Tars have surged back in numbers, and they've got sort of that line of defence there that's been pretty hard to penetrate all year. Buffs had a pretty good go at it there. Umpire calls them back, and it'll be a boundary throw-in.
Yeah, a fair few players with hands on hips and leaning forward. It's been a taxing quarter, this one. Both sides have ran really hard and worked hard. So, and full credit to Darwin. The game could have easily slipped the other way, and they've come out in the third quarter and really dug deep and worked hard for one another, and they've taken their opportunities. They're back in the footy game, and probably at three-quarter time there'll be a 3-point ball game.
Looks like Tommy Clark has moved to full forward. His left shoulder heavily strapped. That was the one that was looking a bit ginger as he came off in that earlier this quarter.
I think I called it as a rib, so that's how bad it is.
Yeah.
He's popped a rib and done a shoulder at the same time. Will.
And he's interesting to see how they utilise him for the rest of the game. Buffs look to move forward. Cooper at the drop of the ball, bounced off his chest. He's got about 4 to beat. How will he go? Gets through 3 of them, try to get the ball back to Bork, but the numbers just worked out, and now Collis is running in. He's got space. He kicks it to Magro. Overcooks it. Silver finds himself in. Gets around one defender.
Silver.
How about that? Kicks towards goal.
The boy from Nooka.
Kicks there first of the quarter.
He's an excitement machine. You've got Cooper up one end and Silver at the other. But Kirtley, great little bit of play there. He summed it up well, didn't he? He still had a little bit of work to do. He had the Buffaloes player in front of him. He took him on and beat him to the left side and then finished it. If you have a look here on the replay, Collis has got that ball in well. Good contest once again. Magro just putting himself in between the ball and there just the little shimmy and a shake, and away he goes and kicks the goal.
Not the biggest shimmy, but just enough to get around him. And they needed that one. It's just calmed the nerves a bit. I think you're spot on with that weather, Haley. The flags have definitely died down, so Tars won't have as much of an advantage in that last quarter. Munro now goes out to Marsh. He goes forward, and here's our man again, Silver. Quick Silver.
Oh, he's off. He's quick too to turn and go.
Goes to Hutchins. Hutchins hands it over the top. Magro.
Oh, put down the glasses. Oh, he's overcooked it on his left. Usually Magro, he would have jailed that one, but he swung it back a little bit too far.
He is their leading goal kicker this season as well. 34 coming into the game, yet to kick a goal today. But, tonight I should say, Haley. At three-quarter time, it is Waratah hanging on to a 10-point lead. It's 10 goals, 9, 69. They lead Darwin Buffaloes 9 goals, 5, 59. Buffs are almost stumbling towards the boundary line. They're down to 2 on the bench. Finish line, I should say. We'll be back after this break for the final quarter.
You know what great mates Territorians can be. Always willing to lend a hand, or something else. So if they ever ask to borrow your car, as you know they will, you can say yes, knowing that your TIO comprehensive car insurance has them covered. Same as you. It's good to know. So get a quote today. TIO. We're for Territorians.
This weekend, we will wear orange armbands to show our support for the No More campaign.
We all have power to do something about family violence.
Call out disrespectful, racist and sexist behaviour.
Be there for someone if you think they're affected by family violence.
Just telling them they have your support and knowing someone cares might get them through that day. Your call could save a life.
If you see or hear something that doesn't seem right, report it.
Link up and say no more to family violence.
No more.
Kazali's Palmerston Club. Come and check out our cafe, open 7 days a week. Our kids club is open Wednesday to Sunday nights, including weekend lunchtime. Enjoy hot meals with nightly specials at the bistro or cold drinks at the sports bar. Feeling lucky? Have a go at the latest machines in our gaming lounge or grab your mates for a round of pool. Family gatherings or casual meetings, we have something for everyone. Kazali's Palmerston Club, making a difference.
Time to escape, cause I'm in need of warmer weather. Sail upon the stream to find there's someplace better. And I'm going far and wide.
Great Northern Brewing Co. The beer from up here.
You know Territorians are a hardy bunch. Hats off to you. Whether you're new or you've been here forever, we know what the weather can throw at us. That's why TIO Home Insurance covers your home for cyclone, storm surge and flood. It's good to know. And with the only contact centre, claims team and assessors based in the Territory, we're here when you need us most. TIO, we're for Territorians.
AFL Northern Territory would like to remind spectators that congregating at the team huddles is not permitted during the breaks.
Welcome back to TIO Stadium in Darwin. You're watching AFL NT's coverage of the 2021-22 TIO NTFL season. It's round 17 action, the pointy end of the season, and it's Darwin Buffaloes versus Waratah. 10-point margin at three-quarter time. I'm Will's with me is Damien Hale, and we've got a bit of the game on our hands, but it'll be interesting to see how Darwin Buffaloes in particular run out this game, Haley.
Yeah, they're a little bit, as we've talked about, a little bit short on the bench, but they'll dig in. They're a chance.
Just the two on the bench at the moment, and Tom Clark playing deep forward with a very, what's looking like a very crooked left shoulder. I think he's got a bit of a rib injury from a pretty heavy collision with one of the Collis boys. But Waratah looking to exit their defensive 50, get a few goals on the board. They only kicked one that quarter to 5. And here comes Varotas. He's tackled without the ball, so he'll get a free kick.
I think Tom Clark's coming off now. It's a shoulder, and I reckon it's the AC joint. The way he's holding his collar, the top of his collarbone. Anyway, back to the footy, Will.
And he might find himself in amongst it here. He's about 10 metres. The ball comes out to him. Now comes back to Aaron Stokes. He throws on the outside of the boot, kicks it, but there's no one forward. It's just Dill Collis. Collinson gets a boot in there. Comes back again to Sam Bono from the pocket. Kicks it to the hot spot. Matt Watkins will drop. And Tar's there to mop up. Just a few more numbers there. Clark well and truly off the ground now. And Tar's turned it over to Gareth Renfrey.
He's done well, Renfrey. It's been good.
Now finds Tommy Bork. And just the way that even Clark sort of, was walking, he couldn't sort of get up to a jog even. It might be, some pretty sore ribs in there as well, I reckon.
Yeah, well, Darwin, it's been a monumental effort, hasn't it, really, Will? When you think they've lost Jared Stokes and Jaden Kickett before half-time, that's a nice kick.
Oh, just a bit too much on it.
And they've lost those two guys before half-time. Tommy Clark halfway through the third quarter, and they're still in this ball game. It's been a great effort.
Clark and Stokes, along with Ben Archard, have been the magnificent three for the Buffs. There's a long way between those three and the next best players for them in season 21-22. Here's McDonald on the far wing. Goes inboard with the milestone man in Bradley Stokes. Rolls onto his left. Looks for Sam Bono. Ball pops out of his hands. Now with Wilson trying to take it, but Tars will mop it up. Comes to Collis. He'll get around Roberts, and he'll go towards Kitsch. Use his body well. Ball comes out the back. He's tackled as he takes possession, so it's a grubber along the ground, and it will meet the boundary line first. We'll have a throw-in on their forward flank.
It hasn't been very impressive, Waratah's second half here, and I know that Coach Ryan Ayres wouldn't be too impressed with the way they've moved the ball, and they haven't been able to take opportunities up forward. So I think they didn't kick a goal, did they, in that third quarter?
They kicked one late, but we mentioned last week as well, they only kicked one for the second half, which, from what I'd seen earlier in the season, wasn't really an issue for them running out games, but it's something they want to polish up before finals, and they've only got 1 week to do it. Zach Griffiths just pushes Tommy Bork over the boundary line. He tries to remonstrate there with Amius Ross, and we've seen a fair bit of heat in this one all day.
Yeah, there's no love lost between the two clubs.
So Archard on Wilkins in the ruck. Wilkins will rove his own ball. Almost unmanned. Throws it on the boot, gets it inside 50. LeGrice takes it, hands it out to Turnbull. He hands it to Collis. Collis on his left. Overcooks it.
They can't buy a goal, Waratahs, at the moment. We've got one down, one only on the bench, and there's looks like the big guy's come off.
He's looking very uncomfortable, isn't he?
I think it's cramped.
Yeah,
by the look of it. It's like a giraffe when it's born. The way he was walking then.
Absolutely. Now comes in. Tommy Bork will find it on the wing. He's in a bit of space, running back with the flight. Took it cleanly. Now goes inboard to a man by himself. And Collinson, he goes Just Sam Bono inside 50. Again, a bit too much on it, but Cooper will run onto it. No, it'll be Vrados who picks it up. He's tackled and flipped over. Ball comes out. Tars again with numbers. Carroll's back there, giving support.
Great umpiring there. Let it go. There was bodies going everywhere. Very well umpired.
And now finds George, who had a pretty good opening quarter. Been a bit quiet since. Maybe he'll come alive in this last. And Hutchins, the target. Ball slips through to the back. And Sharple's there. Rebounds 50. Finds Jackson Clark on that far wing. Goes to Eldridge. Mark there paid. Again to Bow. Goes down the line to Turnbull. Strong mitts but can't take it. Here comes Catabella. He takes one bounce. Works it forward. Finds Remfrey. Remfrey gets it onto the run. His teammate. Handballs it over the top to Watkins. Watkins running into an open goal. Reduces the margin to 4 points.
Funny because Darwin you'd think would be fatiguing, but Darwin seemed to be having a little bit more run in their legs at the moment.
Absolutely, and they're just getting around that player in the forward pocket. Can't quite see who it was, but he's run the ball a good 40 metres.
Timmy Eldridge?
It was, yep. And Matt Watkins has kicked his third.
He's had a pretty solid game, Tim Eldridge, tonight. Leading from the front, a senior player in the side.
Yeah, played a bit all over the place as well, just where they've needed him. 2 off half back in the middle, and as we've seen him there, running forward as well.
Buffs will just need. Sometimes it sort of works in your favour when you know that you haven't got much on the bench and everyone's just going to have to dig in and play their role.
How's this? Aaron Stokes in the ruck, very undersized there. Tommy Bork takes possession, hands out to Constant. Now goes to Stokes. He goes on his left forward, gets it into space to in the direction of Roberts, I should say. And Tars with numbers mopping up.
Good on attack on the ball there from Ross.
Finds the Grice, looks inboard, doesn't like what he sees. Goes down the line instead. Hutchins, the target, goes through, hit Collis's foot on the landing. He's taking possession, but corralled over the boundary line. So it's a 4-point game here as we tick over 7 minutes in this last quarter here at TIO Stadium. Tars in front, but Buffs with the momentum and the accuracy.
The Buffs will keep coming, I think.
Ball from that throw in found itself at the bottom of the pack. We'll have a ball up. Archard back on the ground, gets a hit out there. And he's man at the bottom of the pack there is pinged for holding the ball. Umpire said he had plenty of time.
That's a tough decision, isn't it? Anyway, he's closer than us, Will, but Eldridge has only had eyes for the ball there, and I don't think he had a lot of prior opportunity, really.
Don't think he had any, almost no possession at all, and he looks a bit worse for wear as well. He might try and find a spell on the boundary line as well. Here comes McDonald now, though, and they've been pretty solid down in their back line all night.
Yeah, they've done well back there. Yeah, Timmy Eldridge isn't well either.
Remfrey finds Cooper on the back flank. He's outnumbered. Tars can't. They're not helping themselves. Here's Gooch. Grab her along the ground. Now comes out to Collis. He's got a man out the back in George. He'll go to him.
Oh.
He'll go towards goal, and that's a shocker.
That's out on the full. Timmy Eldridge was like a half-open Swiss Army knife. He didn't know whether he wanted to stand up straight or bend over. He had arms pointing out everywhere. He's walking back through the middle of the ground, so all the Buffalo supporters watching. He's okay, he's alive.
Tommy Clark's got the slides on, so dare say his night is done.
Yeah, down to the one on the bench, who's Charlie Sharples is the next man on.
Kirtley, Quicksilver, kicks it inside 50. Magro now with the ball on his left towards goal. That will go through.
Oh, he's had an off night with his goal kicking, Magro.
A bit too much yet to kick a major.
The moment I saw the ball in his hands, I thought, yep, this will be, he'll nail this one. He didn't.
Bradley Stokes kicking out from full back, is it?
He's had a good game in his 100th, Bradley Stokes. 100 games tonight. He's played well. marshalling the troops back there. He's the leader of that back line.
Kick down the line to Archard. He'll go over the top of him. Collinson couldn't find it. In fact, it was Roberts. If he did, they would have been away, I reckon. Though they didn't have a lot up forward. And again, Tars just looking at it quickly. Have got plenty of numbers there as well. Ball comes down. Here they go. Buffs working it forward. Throw it on the boot. Only get it as far as Bowd.
There's some tired players, Buffalo's players cramping. Another one goes down there. It looks like Colin Wilson down with a little bit of leg cramp.
The pillar's just in the way. They didn't see that, but he's looking very worse for her as well. Meanwhile, Tars working it forward, trying to make advantage of the extra man they've got temporarily. Can't do it cleanly. Buffalo's putting in a mammoth effort here. Silver's tackled a man without the ball. And is that Munro's kicked a goal?
Munro.
And don't know what he's done there. Has he done the Buffalo horns?
Oh, he's got to be careful. He's still got to get to his car. You don't want to bloody upset some of those passionate Buffalo supporters.
Yep, he's got to get to Tribunal on Tuesday somehow, doesn't he?
He's got a date with the Tribunal on Wednesday. He'll be a busy boy, Munro. I think he's a FIFO, isn't he? He flies in from Melbourne to play, so there'll be some anxious moments for him. I don't think there was much in it. I think it might have been one of those little rib ticklers.
Yeah,
was all that he did. But Munro, he's a valuable player for him. That's for sure. He's a very good player. Yeah, he certainly is not popular with the Buffalo supporters.
No, tonight. Absolutely not. Nor is he with their players.
No. So, I think. Yeah, it looks like hopefully Colin Wilson hasn't got any sort of serious injury there. He's not looking too good.
And it looks like more than just a bit of cramp, Haley. He's holding his chest, limping to the boundary line, and Remfrey will come on. So
I once demanded one of my players shows more effort, and he had a ripped ACL, so I'm not saying anything.
It's not a good one, is it, Haley?
No, so hopefully fingers crossed for young Colin Wilson that he's okay. But he doesn't look good, and that's the end for Buffalo's reserves. There's no one left on the bench.
They're down by 11 points, so it'll take a fair effort from here. They've had a good night.
They have tried. They've been fantastic. I've been very impressed with the Buffs.
Archard gets the ball down. Oh, coat hanger there on Eldridge, and he's paid a high tackle.
He's worrying a little Eldridge, isn't he? Puts himself in.
Yeah, even we thought a few minutes ago he might be looking for a spell on the bench. He's, if he did want one, he's missed his opportunity because he won't have much room to rest anymore. Ball finds Collis on the back flank there for Tars. And now is when Buffs really need to be accurate. They need to be clean. Make sure that every opportunity is made the most of. Tars slowing up play. They need to move quick. Work Buffs off their feet. Ball spills out the back. McDonald hacks it forward. It bounces over the top of Carroll. Now with Collinson, he hands it forward to Sam Bono. He's lively. He could turn the game. Goes back inboard to Stokes. Stokes goes forward to Armat Watkins. Doesn't find him on the full, and it'll meet the boundary line on the bounce.
Darwin have once again shown they've got that pace, and I think genuine speed's a problem for Tars to combat. And once again, last week they were exposed a little bit to a very quick St Mary's side, and tonight I think Darwin, their speed's kept them in it.
Archard gets the hit out. Carroll, a rebound 50. Silver takes a good strong mark at the bottom of the ball there.
Good little player, isn't he?
He's got a switch nearly on, but he doesn't go for that. Instead, he works it forward to LeGrice. Abala picks it up, gets past one, gets past two, takes the bounce. Goes out wide to Bork in a Padicus space. He'll play on two. Inside 50, kicks towards goal. Vrodos competing, as is Cooper. Vrodos gets past two, but he's pinged for holding the ball. Thought he nearly would have got done for tripping, but he's given away a 50-metre penalty.
Yeah, I think Johnny was a little bit unlucky there, but one of those 50-50 ones. And he got, I think the dropping the ball happened prior to the getting legged.
Yeah.
That was the first decision. Then he slid down and taken the legs, but he'd already knocked the ball out.
And it's unfortunate in those situations because you can see why he would think the free's possibly going his way and accidentally giving away a 50 on the way through.
Yep.
It's quick as a flash though. Ball's in the Tars forward 50. They could be one goal away from mopping this game up. LeGrice, good smother in there from the defenders. Buffs won't go down easy. High ball now inside. Munro, try to take the mark. Picks the volley off the ground, now comes to Turnbull. He snaps towards goal. Is that gone through? No, it's a behind.
Full credit to Darwin. They're hanging in there. There's a lot of tired boys out there. They've probably got another 7 or 8 minutes left in this game, so they've got to battle it out.
And it's a 12-point margin. It's far from over. No sign yet of Wilson. He didn't look good, and there's no fit men on the bench for Buffs at the moment.
They're just going to have to grind it out, the double blues.
Tommy Bork kicking out from fullback. Another one with a bit of X factor. He could be the difference. Goes towards Archard. They've got numbers, Buffs, if they can keep it alive. They just do. Stokes handballs it to Roberts. Flicks it over the top. Eldridge goes inboard.
Good skills, good skills.
Now McDonald. Need to go quicker than that. He goes back to Roberts on the wing. And there's plenty of numbers for the Tars back. Meanwhile, Aaron Stokes cramping up.
Still got plenty of time, Darwin, to think their way through this. They don't have to rush just yet.
Roberts played on. Collinson tried to paddle it forward. Instead, George gets a foot to it. And it's a free kick downfield.
I think something might have been said behind play.
Turnbull kicks inside 50 to the run of Collis. Magro there as well. Now comes to Hutchins. He gets it out to Collis. Not cleanly enough. Goes back to Munro. Great smother there from the defender. Abala now mops up. Handballs it back. Now back out to Archard on the run. A ruckman's kick there to Remfrey. Now to Sharples. He goes forward. Great kick. Just hit the spot there for Vrodos. He's been very good tonight as well. Sam Bono, the target.
Nice
bounces off his chest. He'll get to it first. Paddles it through his feet. And just turns it over at the wrong time.
It was a fantastic effort down on the half-back line there from the Buffaloes player. Who was it? Number 12?
It's Kev Moroney, who's been a solid defender in the back line all year.
Not only did he smother it, but he got up and he got the handball after it. Fantastic play late in the game. He'd be tired, but well done, Kevin.
Now Waratah over the top to Turnbull, who's got space in front of him, so he'll play on, and it's a very clever kick to Collis.
Yeah, you'd think Waratahs here would go back and soak up some time on the clock and get their zone set.
And as we tick towards 18 minutes, a goal or a point here would take it above would mean Darwin need 3 goals.
Yeah, Darwin can hold their head up. They've battled. They've absolutely put themselves on the line tonight. It's been fantastic. And, you know, had they not lost the play, you know, these players of the calibre of Jaden Kickett and Jared Stokes before half-time, it's going to leave a massive hole in your team. And then obviously Tommy Clark got cleaned up in the third quarter, and now young Colin Wilson's off as well. So, you know, Buffalo's what could have been, I suppose, Will, if they had have had those fellas right throughout this game. But they've battled away bravely, and you know, I think now it's probably getting a little bit past beyond them now. But you know, they've been fantastic.
So Will Collis kicks what could well be the seal. It's now an 18-point lead in favour of Tars as we tick just over 18 and a half minutes gone in this final quarter here. And unfortunately, that could be season over for Darwin Buffs. They're needed to win tonight and next week against Southern Districts in what would have been a mini elimination. Meanwhile, for Tars, their top 2 hopes are still alive. And the umpires are, I think he's brought in that 6-6-6 rule.
Yeah. Noons is all over it, Mark.
Replace one Collins with another there from the middle.
The 6 times tables was one of Noons' favourites.
Archard with the hit out. He's been gallant all night. Collinson kicks it forward. The mark there by Matt Watkins. Maybe they're not done just yet. Needs to be quick. Eldridge lets Collis know about it. Hassan Ahmad Watkins has kicked 3 already. This one will take everything he's got.
This will test tired hamstrings, Will.
Dare say it will. So from 50, has it got enough? No. And it's touched over the line. Sambona tried to get a foot in there. Just didn't quite time it right. So from fullback, Cars play on. Hitch gives the target. Good fist in there by Stokes. O'Dwyer gets a kick down the line. Hutchins got the ball over the top, and it's a coat hanger to Collis. He plays on. Umpire said he went off his line. He goes inboard to Silver. And the umpire's paid another high tackle in favour of Silver. So a couple in a row.
That's been a great little battle. Abala and Silver tonight. 2 live wires. Abala's got fantastic speed as well. So natural matchup for him and for him to play on Silver. But they've had a really good battle. Abala's run and created play. Silver's had to go with him.
Sometimes a bit too quick for his own good, Abala. He overruns the ball every now and then and will overrun almost into an opponent. But here goes Silver. He's kicked 1 tonight.
Well, he's tired too.
And it's just touched over.
Very hard to make the distance there from Kirtley. Sort of pulled the kick, didn't he? He didn't kick through it.
This ball comes back in now to Abala. He finds Cooper. Looking very tired, but not giving up. Archard with the strong lead. Collis got his hands in the way. Oh, and a big hit there.
Oh, Charlie Sharples. The books come straight out for young Charles. Almost a nod of the head from Charlie there.
And is that a card, or I thought I might have seen a little flash of colour in there?
Oh, yeah, I suppose it's you need to have your eyes on the ball, and it didn't appear that Charlie was looking at the ball then.
So it's 1 player either side reported tonight. Collis kicks it to the lead of Hutchins in the pocket. Bit too much, wasn't out on the full.
Just keeps it tight, doesn't he? Didn't want to risk going to the wide side of the ground in case Buffalo's rebounded it, so just kicked it. The disciplined kick there from Collis just kept it tight in the corner. It's not a bad result this late in the game.
So Wilkins almost got a fly on him. Gets it to Silver with the handball as he's tackled. It'll roll over the boundary line. Very tired, plenty of players probably could have got their hands on that one, but they wanted to let the boundary line take it.
Well, Waratahs, I think, just about secure their double chance tonight. So, and St Mary's and Wanderers are still alive for that double chance. I think it'll come down to St Mary's and Wanderers in that last game to see which one will go through and get the 2 chances in the finals. But well done to Waratahs. They've battled this one out, and they've now got a double chance.
So Silver on Cooper. Abala gets a fist in there and the ball comes out. We'll now be with Brody Carroll, who's been a bit quiet tonight. Still been very good, but just not at his professional best. And he finds his co-captain in Robbie Turnbull inside 50. And Kirtley Silver cramping up as well, so it's happening on both sides. It's been it's been a pretty physical and tough game as well.
Yeah, I think Waratahs needed a nice tough hit out. That's when you want to be playing. You're coming into finals. Obviously, Buffs are playing for a bit of pride at this time of the year when they're not going to play finals. So, full credit to Waratahs. They needed a good hit out and they've got it. And hopefully, things don't get heated here at the end as the siren goes.
And won't be registered for a score. So it's an 18-point margin at the end of this one. Waratah win 12 goals, 13-85 on Darwin Buffalo's 10 goals, 7-67. A gallant effort by Buffs in the end, but when you've got none on the bench, it's always going to be hard, particularly when you're behind. They had kick go off in the first quarter. Stokes almost on the first bounce. Not sure if he took to the field at all. And then we also saw Tom Clark go down with what looked like a pretty bad rib injury / shoulder injury, and Colin Wilson come off looking very sickly and sore as well in that last quarter.
Yeah, good effort from Buffs, and I think Waratah showed they're second on the ladder for a reason, and they were able to still get the result. So a good hit out for them going into the finals, and the Buffs get to have one more game next week and go away and think about what went wrong this year.
We'll just take you through the goal scorers quickly. For Waratah, it was Jack Hutchins with 3. He was a superstar up forward for them tonight. With 2, James Munro, who was in a lot of controversy, found himself with the report as well on a date with the tribunal in the week. Corey Rich kicked 2, Lewis George with single, Kirtley Silva, Harrison Kitchke, Will Collis and Brody Carroll also with singles. For Darwin was Hassan Ahmad Watkins, their leading goal scorer, added 3 to his tally. Adam Sambono and Timmy Eldridge kicked 2 each, and singles to Gareth Remfrey, Nathaniel Cooper and Luke Roberts. For Buffs, they've got one more game next week to play for a bit of pride, and for Tars it's a potential final preview against ladder leaders Nightcliff. We'll look forward to bringing you some of those games next week, but that's it from us for now.